day, ladies and gentlemen, good day. So, state and federal parliaments, once again, treason. So, every politician who's a member of a political party, so the word member is not minister, So, you have to go over all the Commonwealth Crimes Act, all the old Commonwealth Crimes Act, learn and study the Commonwealth Crimes Act, as well as the Treason Acts, the Commonwealth Treason Acts that date back to the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth Treason Acts that date back to the United Kingdom to England. See, the thing is with our state and federal parliaments, for decades, they have been trying to remove the Crown of England. They have been trying to remove the Crown of England and the King and the Queen and the Majesty of England. They've been trying to remove the King and Queen and the Majesty of England, and they've been trying to remove the monarchy. And see, police officers have a job to do. And they should be holding these corrupt politicians who are sitting in treason in our state and federal parliaments, who are sitting in treason. Our police officers should be holding these corrupt politicians sitting in our state and federal parliament buildings accountable for breaking Commonwealth law, and they are committing Commonwealth crimes and a whole bunch of other crimes that I could go over in a list. So Commonwealth crimes, high treason. So there's high treason that the state and federal parliament ministers are committing, high treason. There's Commonwealth crimes they're committing, a whole bunch of other crimes too that I could list, as well as the 1995 Criminal Code. The police officers under the 1995 Criminal Code, so state and federal police in Australia, they have a job to operate under the 1995 Criminal Code and under the 1914 Crimes Act. So the police officers need to learn all these Crimes Acts and all of that. They need to learn the Crimes Act to realise what the state and federal ministers in the state and federal parliaments are doing is treason and it's Commonwealth crimes. And under the 1960 Crimes Act, the 1960 Commonwealth Crimes Act, basically all of these state and federal politicians can be arrested. So I want the police to get knowledge. I want the police officers to get knowledge. I really, really want the police officers to get knowledge and realise that the police officers in Australia, state and federal police, they really, really need to study the Commonwealth Crimes Act and the 1995 Criminal Code, as well as the 1914 Crimes Act, and learn the Treason Act. So I want every police officer to learn the Treason Acts, study what treason is, and study the 1914 Crimes Act and the 1995 Criminal Code, and as well as study all the Commonwealth Crimes Acts from around 1900 to 1960 with royal assent. So I want all the police officers, state and federal in Australia, to study the 1900 Crimes Act to 1960 Commonwealth Crimes Act with royal assent, because those Crimes Acts from about 1900 to 1960, they have royal assent, so they're in power because they have the royal assent, and as well as the letters patent, my mother Queen Victoria, letters patent, my mother Queen Victoria, letters patent is very important. So King Edward VII is telling you to basically study the Commonwealth Crimes Acts from around 1900 to 1960. I want all police officers to study that. I want them to study the Crimes Acts. I want police officers to study the Treason Acts as well. Study what treason is, research what treason is. Look into the Magna Carta as well too. Look into the Magna Carta. Look into all the Commonwealth Crimes Acts and all the possible acts and legislation and Commonwealth Crimes Acts, as well as the Australian Government Treason Act. I want every officer, whether they consider themselves a policeman or policewoman or just officer, the word officer, I want them to look into this and realise that every politician, state and federal, is committing Commonwealth crimes, high treason, so high treason, Commonwealth crimes, high treason, and breaking state and federal Australian law. So treason's been going on for quite a few decades since Gough Whitlam and Bob Hawke, so most police officers know who Gough Whitlam and Bob Hawke is. Well, Bob Hawke and Gough Whitlam police officers, they started this treason real bad since about 1970. So the treason in our Australian government has been going on real bad since about 1970. So I want the police officers to know watching this video that treason's been going on real bad since about 1970, since Gough Whitlam, Bob Hawke took office. They tried to remove the Queen, King of England, and remove the Majesty, the Queen, King of England, in writing, in our literature, in Parliament, in oaths, in just all parliamentary literature. And they removed letters patent. They tried to remove proclamation. Gough Whitlam, Bob Hawke tried to remove everything associated with the monarchy, letters patent, and the King and Queen of England, and everything associated with the monarchy. They've tried to remove out of our Parliament, paperwork, documents, everything you can name, paperwork, oaths, Parliament. So I hope this is a study thing for all police officers, but it's really time that police officers got on the side of the actual law and actually studied our law, Australian law, and realised that perhaps there is wrongdoing going on, there is Commonwealth crimes being committed and evils being done by so-called people swearing an oath in office. They're not actually under the King and Queen of England. They're not swearing the oath to the King and Queen of England. The oath to the King and Queen of England, which is Queen Elizabeth, it used to be, but now it is King Charles of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland and the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth rename. So any officer that is swearing an oath to the King and Queen of England, they must take action and study all these Commonwealth Crimes Act, the Treason Act, the 1995 Criminal Code, the 1914 Crimes Act, and all the Commonwealth Crimes Act that have royal assent from 1900 to 1960, that all have royal assent. So really, state federal politicians in state federal parliaments, they are committing treason, Commonwealth crimes, and breaking state and federal law because they have broken their oath against the Australian people and not honoured the monarch, the King and Queen of England, the Crown. They have not honoured the monarch, the King and Queen of England, the Crown. So all officers have to serve the Crown, the King and Queen of England in Australia. We are not a republic, never have been, never will be, and all officers must serve the Crown, the King and Queen of England, God. The Crown is God, and it is about time our officers learnt this Commonwealth Crimes Act, the 1914 Crimes Act, and all the Treason Acts, and the Commonwealth Crimes Act, the Bill of Rights 1688, I think it is, 1688, the Bill of Rights, and it's about time that our officers studied the Crimes Acts from about 1900 to 1960, all the Commonwealth Crimes Acts, and realised that state federal parliaments are in treason. State federal parliaments, politicians of political parties sitting in there are in treason. So this is for all you officers. I hope you study and realise that state federal parliament ministers are committing treason and Commonwealth crimes. They are committing Commonwealth crimes under the Commonwealth Crimes Acts from 1900 to 1960 with royal assent. So peace out, and hope you have a good day, everybody, every man and woman, ladies and gentlemen. But realise you must serve your oath to the King and Queen of England, King and Queen of England, to the monarchy. Every officer in Australia has an oath to serve the King and Queen of England, the Crown of England, and serve the King and Queen of England and uphold Commonwealth law. Not what their wants and needs are, but Commonwealth law. Uphold the Crown, the King of England, the Commonwealth law, and all the Commonwealth Crimes Acts. So realise treason is very important. Study what treason is and realise that our state federal parliament ministers are in treason and they are not operating under the Commonwealth law, they are operating in treason. So realise that our officers need to study and learn all this. So I hope you all have a good day, ladies and gents, but I hope that our officers learn and study the Commonwealth Crimes Act, the Treason Acts, and study the Magna Carta, the Commonwealth Crimes Acts. As I explained, it's very important they learn the Commonwealth Crimes Acts and the Commonwealth Crimes Bills and realise what's going on is totally against our Australian law. So Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I love you all, but it is time to honour the majesty of the King and Queen of England and the monarchy. Our founding fathers, as I've explained, our founding fathers would be disgusted, our Anzacs would be disgusted, and Queen Victoria would not be impressed with all of this, with her disrespect to Queen Victoria's constitution. So it is time you wake up, ladies and gentlemen, and realise Queen Victoria would be absolutely disgusted with what's going on with our constitution and our state federal parliaments in treason. Queen Victoria would say to the police officers, the police force in state federal, take action and arrest every state federal politician for treason and Commonwealth crimes committed against the Australian people. So Queen Victoria wants me to tell you all of this, and you need to study this and learn what's been done against the Australian people is breaking state federal law, and it is high treason and Commonwealth crimes. So please study this, all officers, and realise that the Australian state federal law has been broken by politicians who are in high treason and have committed Commonwealth crimes under the Commonwealth Crimes Acts. Right, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic day. God bless.